big bikini bottom and push it somewhere else!
Hi, it's Siri, Nianchantix, Cognition and Creativity, whatever you want to call me. Um, I'm back. I mean, I didn't really leave, but I said a while ago, oh, I'm getting a mic, so I'll be able to make, good sounding videos. Took a lot of trial and error to find the right mic, to find out how to use that mic. And I think I finally figured it out though, so hopefully it's smooth sailing from here. Uh, kind of hesitate to say that because I feel like it's tempting the universe to prove me wrong, but you know what? Sometimes that's all you can do. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different, you guys. If you've watched my channel before, you probably know that I like to analyze K-pop lyrics a lot. Today I was actually figuring we could analyze a music video. It's a little bit different for me, but it's not something I haven't done at all before. Like I've analyzed movies and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm not not too unprepared. I don't know. I think I have some interesting notes. I think I have some very interesting commentary on those notes. Uh, I I guess we should start with the backbone of this analysis, which is existentialism. Existentialism, I feel like the most important principle, at least in my opinion, is the idea of existence preceding essence. For living creatures, we are born without quote unquote essence, whatever you want to call it, personality, identity, any of these things. We are born without that. By the way, I don't necessarily believe this myself. This is just, and I'm not saying you have to believe it. This is just what I'm saying the philosophy uh, says, I guess. So you're born without essence, but at the same time, man-made objects are created with essence because they are created with something in mind. Their essence actually precedes their existence, which is very different from us. Um, and that's one of the main principles. I think that other things will come up as we go along, but that's what I needed you to know definitely as we went in. Um, there's also the idea of like being abandoned by a god, um, everything we being condemned to freedom, meaning everything that we choose to do, we have to make a choice. We can't even choosing not to make a choice is making a choice, and we can't blame our choices on a god because, like I said, we've been abandoned by God. He has no control over us if he even exists. Most existentialists are atheists, so you know that's just kind of how it is. Um, but I wanted to get into the video more just because I could go on about existentialism for hours, but not everything I have to say about existentialism is necessarily relevant to the video. So we'll get started now with the music video commentary. It starts with Yena in this white outfit with, like, I don't know if you could call them glasses, but I'm gonna call them glasses because I don't know what else you would call them, and this like number one prize. And I really feel like this scene is portraying her in a godlike manner. She's dressed in all white, which is generally associated with God. She has glasses, and in literature, generally, when someone has a sort of visual impairment, they are actually able to see they have greater sight in ways that other people don't. Like they have a greater understanding of what is true. They have a greater understanding of morality, like all this stuff. And she even has this prize, God is kind of portrayed as number one, I would think, in basically every religion that has a God. Can you have a religion without a God? Anyway, that's not important. Even still, though, there is this dissatisfaction in both the godlike Yena and the regular Yena in her room, you can almost see the weight on their shoulders as they just feel so bad. And there is a I'm forgetting the word. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess you could say. Yena has her toys who are, yes, to an extent her friends, but they are objects, but they are man-made objects first and foremost, and as such, as we were saying before, they have essence before they have existence, and she cannot entirely relate to them because she is human. And you almost have to question if she's losing her humanity by staying with only these man-made objects as like her company, because we see, she talks about being stuck in her room and it seems like it's her choice, but we also see the snow outside of her house, which seems to be from the Smiley music video. um so you almost have to wonder if this took place between Yena getting stuck in the snowstorm and the kid from the music video and Smiley getting her back to the mortal realm or whatever you want to call it. Um, like, is this hell? Is this what? Was she stuck in here until she was able to find her way? Like, it's very interesting to me. I like to think that she is stuck in hell because even though she may say that it's her choice to be stuck in there, there is a play by an extremely important philosopher named Jean-Paul Sartre. He was very influential in terms of existentialism, but he was also a playwright, and he wrote a play called No Exit, which takes place in hell. And there are these three people who are trapped in a hotel room together. And I think I talked about this in my Le Sserafim video to an extent, but I may be misremembering. They are stuck in hell with each other, and all they want the entire time, let me leave, let me leave, let me leave. And at some point, the door opens, and none of them leave, and they choose to relive this. They have the exact same conversation over and over and over again, and they never leave, even though it's what they all wanted. Which kind of makes us question, like, is the unknown even scarier than hell? It's an interesting discussion, but I also want to talk about Yena in the game. She has this hollow outfit, and I think they're called bubble braids. I'm not entirely sure, but the hollow in-game outfit almost makes me feel like she's an object, kind of like her toys, which come to life in the game. She's an object in that, she's like a holographic Pokemon card. She's a collectible, and the bubble braids are kind of interesting too because they make you think of water. And water in literature is generally representative of rebirth. So this could be a rebirth of Yena, but it's also, like I said, making her into a sort of object, which is interesting. Like, and the friends, there's a question of how real are they? They are based off of man-made objects, but they are not man-made objects. So what are they? And it's just very confusing. And I think that in the end they are just even less human, and Yena is just falling into a world that is so far away from what reality is, kind of in the way that we become obsessed with social media, and it affects everything that we see, everything that we think, just everything. Um, then we have the evil duck god. I'm calling him the evil duck god. I don't know what he's meant to represent, but it's a duck. Yena is said to look like a duck. There's the imposter duck. I'm just saying, perhaps they are implying that Yena and the imposter duck were made in the evil duck god's image, which would imply that the duck is a god. Um, and I mean, even when Yena has endless options of ways to dress herself to go fight this duck god, she chooses to look like a god. I mean, like a god. She chooses to look like a duck. She could look like a god. She looks like a duck. And it's also her alternative to this red outfit, which kind of implies that she might be Satan. Um, I think that's a weaker argument, but it's there nonetheless. Duck is even watching her on TV, which is kind of like, a duck. I keep mixing up duck and God. God is supposed to be omnipresent. He's supposed to be able to see everything. So the duck god watching her on this television is kind of like a, a god being omniscient, or a god being able to see whatever they want to see. Um, There's also this drama with her falling while she's in the red outfit, and uh, it's kind of like in Smiley. There's a moment just like it in Smiley, but um, instead she's falling in this like corridor to the duck's, I don't know, lair, and there are a bunch of yellow objects on the ground, which could be associated with a duck. There's also a banana peel, and personally, that makes me think of Mario Kart, especially considering the video game theme. But she hasn't fallen on it yet. It's not behind her, it's in front of her. So it's almost like she is worried that this is going to trip her up. She's too afraid to go on, but in the end, she is a goddess, as she claims. And even in her red outfit, she is able to uh, attain this goddess-like power. She just embodies a god. She is able to take down a god, a duck god, and it's it's very interesting. She has these fists that she was on. They're like giant, and she's fighting the duck god with them, and it's like, emphasizing the strength of her hands. Like there's so much within her grasp now. I don't know if that's a strange way of putting things, but that's just something I thought. And I also wanted to talk about, I have some interesting notes from when I was first coming up with this concept, the things that really made me want to talk about this, the ramifications of the music video as a whole. So I'm just going to read those. They're going to sound crazy, but I will break them down and they will make more sense, I promise. And if they don't, well, just ask me in the comments. I don't know. Uh, So I wrote down, if we say she is nothing but the person in reality, is she representative for why anyone could amount to nothing, and all we have in reality is ourselves, but ourselves aren't everything we perceive them to be? When you say everything is fake, nothing is true. Also, we are what we consume defies the parameters of our reality. So there is a lot to talk about. We also have to talk about one of the most prominent existential philosophers, Jean-Paul Sartre. We talked about him a little bit already. He was a playwright. He wrote plays such as No Exit, Takes Place in Hell. Obviously, he didn't believe in it, but existentialism is actually very important in literature as a whole. The fact is that you have to separate the person immersed in fiction and the person in reality, which is something he was able to do. He was very open about his beliefs and their ramifications. We also have to talk about Yena representing anyone being nothing in the end. She literally portrays a godlike character while being stuck in hell. She can act like a goddess online, but she is still stuck in reality with no one to interact with, which means she is all she has. And in immersing herself in fiction, she has failed to develop the person she is in reality. But we also don't know what reality is, because you could argue that if the virtual world is where she spends most of her time, maybe that is the more important part of her life. We can construct a new reality through things like games as well as social media, and it can become impossible to cut the online world out of someone's life. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Um, I had to script that part at the end because I was stumbling over my words so much. So it did come out a little bit fast, but I hope you understood. Um, I hope that this was an interesting video. I had fun making it. Um, if you would be so kind, it would be very nice if you subscribed, liked, left a comment, especially leave a comment. I really want to know what you guys have to say. Yeah, that's all I got. So I will see you soon, hopefully. And yeah, bye.